Welcome to session 2, automation for instruments. That's right, we are going to take a look at how we can control instrument parameters, virtual instrument parameters we're going to focus on. I am going to, in the MIDI CC session, take a look at controlling parameters on an external synth using MIDI CCs. That can go a little bit further, but in this session we are primarily looking at virtual instruments within a DAW. So what can we actually control? You've now got a really good idea of what automation is from the first couple of sessions, the intro and session 1. But yeah, what can we control on an instrument? Pretty much anything. LFOs, envelopes, all these modulation sources, pitch controls of oscillators, wave changing, so changing waveforms. There's so much we can do. Effects as well built into instruments. Anything, again, that moves, that's what we can do. All right, so we're going to take a look now. I've got a synth in my production, same production we've worked on earlier. I am going to take a quick look as well at Ableton and the other DAWs, Pro Tools and Cubase, give you a quick little kind of view of where you can automate instruments in there as well. Let's jump in and get cracking. All right, so I've got the same production as before, this little breaks thing. And there's a little pluck synth here being played by Vital. And what I'd like to do is automate various parameters. So I can do that looking at the oscillators here. All right, this is primarily a wavetable synthesizer. Well, we can do a lot of other types of synthesis in it as well. But yeah, it is kind of primarily a wavetable synth. We can automate effects, the matrix as well. We can kind of mess about with the amount controls here in the actual matrix itself, and we've got some advanced. Oh, there's so much inside this synth that we could do. All right, but I'll concentrate on the voices, i.e. the oscillators, some control of the oscillators, and I'll automate some effects, just so you have a good idea of what to do and what you can do and what is possible. Okay, so let's now think about what automation we are going to use. I want to use Latch. Reason being, I will now show you, let's just close this synth for a moment. If we hit A for automation and we go to Vital itself, you can see that there are so many controls in list form. If you don't know your way around a particular synthesizer that you choose to automate, this can be quite confusing. Sometimes it is easier just to control the parameter in Latch mode, and then that way you start to learn the functions, because it will come up as an automated parameter and you can learn what that is. But yeah, this goes on and on and on. Look at all these parameters that we can automate. It's crazy, madness, some would say. So yeah, we're going to use Latch mode. So I'm going to stick this into Latch mode. And in this session, I will also, excuse the pun, touch on touch and write modes. So you get a really kind of good idea of what those are. And then we'll come on to the relative and trims as well. Okay, so Vital, let's have a look, see what we can do. I've got quite a big section-ish put on here. Yeah, all right. All right, let's see what we can play about with. I've got it soloed. So what I might look at doing is automating some of the wavetable itself. Which sounds pretty cool. And we've also got, on this oscillator, we've got some phase options which will automate that as well. And why not, we'll go to the effects output and have a little play with some reverbs and delays. Where is the reverb there actually? There it is. Okay, yep. All right. Let's All right, let's do it. We'll stick it into latch mode. And we'll do that instead of moving away all the time. Let's just do that on the channel strip. And we're ready to go. Let's do it. All right, so I've just done that first pass, and now I'll head over to the effects. We'll do those as well. All right, so let's go. And that will do for a moment. Okay. Now Vital was a rather large synth to kind of try and make it a bit smaller, but let's have a look at the automation on what's been recorded. Remember, take it out of latch mode, stick it into read mode, and there we can see the automation that I've done. So we've got the reverb cut off, we have got the oscillator wave frame change there, so that's me moving through the wave table. I've got the oscillator distortion amount and the reverb mix. Let's go, see what that looks like. Yeah, cool. Now, I could obviously change that. Going back to the last session, we could look at the curves here. We can go into the nodes, zoom in here, start to change these nodes, maybe even this change up a little bit. We could, of course, then get a curve tool in and curve those once again. Right, now, but if I didn't want all that automation, and I didn't like what I did, and I want to do another full pass on it, yes, I could do the old Command and Z and start to undo everything that I've done. All right, and keep on going back steps. But actually, let's show you what Write does. This will erase everything. So let's do that a moment. Let's just quickly show you. And you get a warning, basically saying that this is going to wipe out all of the automation on this track, and I mean all of it, not just the reverb mix, for example. It will wipe out everything, so be aware of that. So let's do this. Okay, I'm aware of this. This is what happens. It's set everything back to its 0 point, all right, so it's starting point. However, I say that, here we can see that the distortion amount hasn't, and it's jumped into touch mode. So what is touch mode? Touch mode is pretty much the same as latch. It will record what you do, but instead of in latch mode, once you stop moving a mouse or a control on a controller, if you stop, it will stay at that control parameter amount or point. With touch mode, it will jump back to what you started out as. All right, so let me kind of just demonstrate that. Let's now open up Vital again. And we'll just do we'll do the wave table shape. All right, so let's move this to the side because you can see what actually happens now. and I will concentrate on this. Let's do it. And you can see that changing, and I'm going to let go. And it's gone right back to the beginning, right here. Look, you can see that happening. That is what touch mode does. All right, so I could go nuts, absolutely nuts, with doing more automation on that instrument. I can keep on going to different passes, moving through the song and automating in different areas. So I'm taking that synth sound and I'm adjusting it. I'm adding all of this kind of maybe performance variations into the actual sound itself. And that's a great thing. You can actually take all of these parameters on any synthesizer, drum machine, sampler, any virtual instrument inside your DAW, be those native instruments or a third-party instrument. This is a third-party instrument. This isn't found in Logic. This is a free synthesizer. Yeah, we can automate any instruments, be they third party or native to your DAW. All right, I'm going to move now into Ableton and show you how it's done in there. Let's do it. So in Ableton, instrument automation is pretty much the same as what we did with the mixer automation. We can, of course, do this in the arrangement area, so we can do it across the whole track automation-wise. Or we can focus just on a clip, which, you know, for example here, the keys here, this keys clip, if I open this, we can move to the envelopes and we can select whether we want to deal with the mixer, the Juno V, and then pick off automation that are linked to the device itself. So what I like to do is focus on track mode here and automate in here. So generally this is just a case of having the instrument itself open and deciding on what parameters I want to automate. For example here, randomly, let's have a listen to this. I have soloed, yeah, it is. So I might play about with that, the VCF there, moving up and down. So yeah, all I've got to do is stick this into record mode and just do it. And then we should, with a little bit of luck, have those parameters recorded. If we now click on either one of the volume or the pan controls and hit show automation, we're now able to see the automation here, and we want to now go to the Juno, and you can now see both of those high pass. I didn't mean to hit the high pass filter cut off there, but I did. But there's the VCF cut off, of which I want to, I can now, there we go, there's that filter, and we can edit this correctly depending on what we want to do. So there, I've now straightened that curve, and down on the actual instrument itself, you can now see those controls. All right, so we could adapt them from there if we wanted to. That's really quite useful as well. All right, that's it. Let's move over to Pro Tools and quickly look there. So here we are in Pro Tools. I have soloed a kalimba instrument. And I now want to automate some of the parameters on the actual instrument itself. Now in Pro Tools, it's a little bit different. You've got to set up the parameters that you want to automate. So it's not as easy as the last session with the mixer automation. We can, of course, still use the automation types, which we'll come on to in a moment. But for example, now I want to, if I just open this instrument here on the insert, I've got a kalimba playing in this sample instrument. I've got some effects returns, I've got some filter cutoffs, etc. Yeah, some chorus dedicated to kind of FX1 and FX2 on this Expand 2 here. But yeah, I want to kind of automate some of these parameters. So what we have to do first is set these up, what we want to automate, to be able to automate them. A little bit like Logic, looking at the list form, and it is one of the ways to do it. So you can see automation dialog here in this drop down list when I right click on the insert, the instrument insert, and now we can now scan down through the list. So what do I want to automate? So I've got insert, so A here is what's playing the kalimba sample, so anything in this row. So I will look at FX1, for example, here in the sends, so we'll add that in. What else could I do? Let's do a little bit. No, I'm not going to do some pan. Yeah, we'll do the chorus as well. So we'll do FX2 send as well. We'll add that in, and we should also be able to, we'll add in the filter cutoff, which is up here as well. So we'll add that. Okay, so if we close the instrument now, and now we move over to automation. If we just put it into read mode, for example, now, and now we should be able to view individual lanes. There we go. All automation lanes available to us, and we can see those at the bottom down here. Look, we've assigned them, cut off and the effect sends. All right, I don't want to, let's click on that again. I actually want to, we'll just go with lanes, hide all automation lanes for a moment. All right, so I'm going to stick this into latch mode now. Let's open the instrument. We're going to focus. You can already see there's some dots assigned to those ones I put in the list. So all we got to do, don't have to put anything into record mode. We are in latch mode. So let's just do our thing. Let's do it. That'll do. Okay, so we'll close, we'll leave the instrument open so you can just see that actually happening on playback. You can see the cutoff going down there, and now the reverb coming up. And if we close the instrument now, we can now show, oh, didn't want to do that, I just wanted to show lanes with automation, and there are the two lanes, the cutoff and of course the reverb send that we can see right there. And then yeah, we again can start to kind of go through. If we open up these lanes a little bit wider like so, and we can now go in and grab our tools as per last time and really straighten out these automation curves the way we might want them, or of course draw in some more filter cut-offs. Really quite simple there. Now again, just very much like Logic, Pro Tools will, if we go into write mode, will of course destroy the automation. All automation that we've done, pretty much like Logic, exactly the same. These functions work, yeah, exactly the same. Okay, let's jump into Cubase and quickly show some instrument automation in there. All right, so here we are in Cubase. Yeah, a little bit different. We've of course, remember, we've only got the read write functions in Cubase. If I wanted to automate an instrument, I've got a Rhodes piano here. Let's just solo this a moment. Let's open up the instrument, which is Halion. Here we are, and I've got yeah, an electric piano chosen. So any one of these parameters here can, of course, on the instrument be automated, very much like we've done in the other DAWs so far in this session. We, of course, can also look at the edit features here. So I may want to filter this Rhodes piano. Play about and record those changes. I may also want to apply some effects here and automate those. If I throw over to here, we'll pick off, let's just do a reverb. Here are the reverb functions, and we'll switch this into a loop a moment. You can hear the size of the reverb there. So what we'll, yeah, we can automate some of these controls on here. Okay, so to do this, there are two ways to do it. If we wanted to do this in read mode, where we manually input the automation, very much like we did in the last session, we would pick off a parameter, right click, and then from there we should be able to go to show reverb automation track, and there it is. And we could, for example, click and just draw in some reverb, opening up at the very end. We can see that mix control going. Now, of course, the other function is that we could stick this into write mode and record some changes. So, for example, if I went to, let's go to the edit, and we'll do a bit of filter cutoff. Stop that. We should now be able to go and find the lane. Sometimes it's so much easier to just show used automation on the selected tracks. And there it is. Okay, that's that cut off right there doing its thing. And then we would go back through and play about with the pencil tool and edit that correctly. Well, if you want to. All right, so there we go. So I've just explored instrument automation in various DAWs, the main focus being on Logic. It is my main DAW, and it's kind of what I kind of just push here, but you can see it's all very, very similar in all of the DAWs. So use automation on instruments, as said at the start of the session, to control and add a little bit more performance characteristics over a period of time into your instruments, your software instruments that are being used. You can see in some cases that you can go absolutely crazy with lots of changes to the instrument sound itself over a period of time. You know, it opens up this whole world. I've already discussed this already. It opens up this massive world of music production and manipulation of all of your sounds during the song itself. All right, so next session we're going to look at effects automation. I will see you in that one. Bye.